they see the success now and have no idea the work that was put into getting to where they're at.
Yeah.
And like the amount of work and amount of time and amount of heartache or whatever it may be to get to that, they don't want to talk about that part.
Yeah.
They just want to talk about, well, so-and-so has this much money and this many assets and stuff. Oh, it must be nice. Yeah. It is nice.
It is nice.
Because I've worked my ass off to get it.
Yes. Hey guys, I'm here with my great friend Jessey Mansfield, and he's going to share his story and some tangible tips on how to have and lead and live a successful life, overcome obstacles, and be the leader that you are designed to be. Check it out. Jessey Mansfield.
Matt, how you doing, brother?
Dude, welcome.
How you doing?
Really good. Really good.
Sweet.
This is what, our third attempt at trying to get together to record this?
I believe so.
Dude, I'm excited to have you, man.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to be here for sure.
You've been a loyal listener, like since day one, right? You've literally listened to every episode. You're always checking in on the show, and we've gotten to know each other more. And you shared your story. I'm like, you got to come on here, man, and share your story.
Yeah, it was definitely a nerve thing at first for sure, but the closer it's gotten and the continuous rescheduling, I feel like the nerves have gone away and it's more excitement now.
And if you were nervous at all, we just acted highly, highly inappropriate offline. We're not going to air what we just were doing and saying.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty relaxed right now.
Oh,
and pretty caffeinated.
Oh yeah. Got to have the coffee. This coffee's amazing.
Dude, so tell everybody like who you are, how you got here, kind of what you're up to today, and then I want to take it back, man, to kind of your origin story, cuz you've come through some really cool stuff, man.
Yeah.
And just really advanced your life a lot, and I'm super proud of you. So tell everybody who you are, man.
Yeah, so I'm Jessey Mansfield, like you had said. I was born in Iowa, which I don't think you actually knew about me. Spent a decent amount of my childhood there and then moved to Missouri. And I say I grew up in Missouri because I feel like I grew up a lot more in Missouri than the time I spent in Iowa, but was working around there, decided to go to college and do something with my life, and ended up in Colorado thanks to work. And then that's how I ran into you.
Yeah, and we met because you just popped in the academy when we were at the old location.
Yeah.
Right? That was when we first connected.
Yep. Yeah, I was literally one day just riding around with my buddy aimlessly, not doing anything specific, and we were driving through that parking lot, and I watched a lot of UFC back in the day. I don't watch as much now, but I had always wanted to do jiu-jitsu. And we were driving around and I saw the NOCO Jiu Jitsu sign. So I decided to look it up and put in my information, and you called me within like a day.
Yeah. And then you got in, and was that your first time ever on the mats, was when you came into the gym?
For jiu-jitsu, yeah.
What was that experience like for you? I always love recalling everybody's first jiu-jitsu class.
Well, I'm a bigger guy. So it's kind of nerve-wracking at first, thinking that you're just going to go in there with a bunch of like Olympic athletes and just get your butt kicked all the time. But the way you guys run things here is everybody's so welcoming that within 10 minutes of being on the mats, everybody's coming up, shaking your hand, introducing themselves and stuff like that, and instantly just comfortable.
Who did you first roll with? Do you remember?
Troy.
Oh, so Troy, like he was first class, first instructor. Okay.
Yep.
Really cool.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I believe I was the only really new one. So it was just me and him off to the side.
Awesome.
And he was going over the very basics with me and stuff like that, and super patient. And
yeah, he takes it like nice and easy.
Yeah.
Super chill.
Yeah, because one of the big things you worry about first going into it is you're just going to go in there and get your ass kicked. And like I feel like what I was feared of most was just going in, getting my ass kicked and not learning anything and just losing interest. But
that was my first class.
Yeah.
Got my ass kicked.
And
then I'm like, I want to come back and kick this guy's ass. So I'm going to sign up. So it only works for like a certain demographic. But it was eye-opening for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that story of yours. I may or may not have watched that video probably 6 times whenever you did the demonstration with Riley.
That kid was so little. Yeah. I mean, literally like 15 Riley's size just mauled me.
Oh, yeah. It's the same thing for me, too, being a bigger guy. It's always harder with the littler guys because they're just so damn fast.
Yeah. Well, I'm watching, just before we started, I came up here, I told Joey, I didn't tell you, but we've got a 15-year-old who's getting ready to compete next Saturday. And he's in there with a big old Jack blue belt, just doing whatever he wants. Triangle choking and moving the guy around. I'm like, dang. The other guy's like, what's this kid doing? Super technical.
Oh, yeah. And, kids like Riley and stuff, like whenever he turns 18, he's technically a blue belt, right?
16. You can get blue belt at 16. And he's 16 now. He just hasn't trained because he's doing football now.
Right.
But yeah.
But it's crazy how much Riley knows and to only be a blue belt. I mean, granted, he'll rank up as deserved and all, but like Riley is scary if you know how much he knows.
I hope he comes back.
Going, or how big he's getting.
He's big and strong, so he's in the gym every day, eating creatine, eating all the food in the house.
When I first came into the gym, he was like this tall, and
he was probably 12.
12?
Yeah, he's probably 12 years old. Yeah, still pretty little, still little boy.
Yeah, and the only reason I could not get my butt whooped by him is because I was significantly bigger than him and at least able to somewhat stop him.
He was throwing little Ezekiel chokes on you, though. He was still monkeying around you, right? Wasn't he? Trying to throw chokes on you?
He tried the chokes, but I do remember that he got me in an arm bar because you were standing there watching. You told him to kick my arm off because I was holding him, stopping him from getting my arm out. So that is the first time he tapped me was with an arm bar.
Dude, so jiu-jitsu's been a big part of your life. And I mean, like where you are today to where you were, a year ago, 2 years ago. I mean, you've made some like just significant improvements in life, right? And like you're all about getting better, making yourself better, paving a way for your family. But kind of like take me back to the Missouri days. Like what was growing up like? What was just some of the environment you grew up in? And I guess like where should you have ended up, right? Based on where you grew up. Because I think that's what's cool about your story. It's like you shouldn't be here as successful and making these strives and improvements that you are.
Yeah, I definitely don't believe I should be here for sure.
So take me back there, man. Like what was your world back then?
To be honest with you, like high school and stuff, like I love my high school. Everybody was great. There wasn't really many bullies or anything like that. It was pretty calm, but I was one of the hoodlum kids that was going around and smoking weed and trying to experiment with new drugs and stuff like that, and definitely got in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah. Now was that because you were like middle of nowhere, Missouri? You said kind of offline, right? So what's the small? How small of a town are you talking?
2,400 people.
The whole town.
Yeah, and then my school was multiple towns together to make enough kids to have a school. So my school is like 4 or 5 miles outside of town in the middle of nowhere. Okay.
Do you even have like sports teams? Or are they like
we definitely had sports teams for sure.
Okay.
Our high school football team was actually very good.
Okay.
Made it to the championship multiple years in a row, but we ended up having to face a big team out of one of the suburbs of Kansas City.
Okay.
That we just couldn't ever get past.
Yeah. Shoot. So drugs, weed, other drugs.
Yeah. So I started smoking weed whenever I was 15, just with the right, or at the time with the right people, just started smoking weed. And that was for a while, like through pretty much all of high school, the only thing I did.
Okay.
But it was after I got out of high school, mostly that I started experimenting with a lot of other stuff. Definitely got into pills a lot.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. A whole lot. Tried a little bit of meth. Thank God that definitely wasn't my thing because a lot of people I know and a lot of people from that area, it's huge for sure.
It's a big one back there.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
That gets people.
There's so many people I went to school with that have either been to prison, been shot, both. A mutual buddy of me and my best friend got pumped in the chest with a 12 gauge on a bad drug deal.
What does that mean? Pumped in the chest?
Just shot in the chest with a 12 gauge slug.
You have?
No.
Oh, your buddy?
No. Me and my best friend have a mutual friend.
Oh, mutual friend. Okay,
yes,
sorry.
That we knew for a long time. We hadn't really talked to him because he got into the drugs really hard. And then my best friend, Jacob, called me one day and told me that he had been shot pretty much point blank in the chest with a 12 gauge slug.
So he's not making that? Did he make it through? No. Okay. I didn't think so.
It'll blow a hole in you almost the size of a basketball.
Jeez. Damn.
Yeah.
So you're going down that path. So you're hanging out with the wrong crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Hitting the drugs. And did you think you'd ever get out of where you were there?
The time I was doing them, I didn't really think too much about it because I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like, getting high is super fun until you realize that once you do it enough, you have to get high to even tolerate life.
Yeah.
And I was high on pills one time, and it ended up making me throw up, like, pretty violently.
Yeah. And
that was kind of what made me realize I'm starting to get too far into this. Like I would spend every bit of money I had to go get them, stuff like that. If it wasn't for my dad, I probably would have had nowhere to live.
Okay.
So my dad did definitely give me a bedroom to stay in, make sure I was okay and stuff.
Did he know you were not okay as he was trying to make sure you were okay? Did he know you were into all that?
I think he definitely knew I was smoking weed, but I don't know if he knew the extent of how much I was doing pills and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't think he ever knew that I had dabbled in other stuff, but I don't think he ever knew how bad it got. Yeah. And then, like I said, I ended up throwing up like violently and in the parking lot at work, actually. And that's when I decided that I need to figure something out and get away from this kind of shit. And in my junior year of high school, there was this class called Jobs for America's Graduates, where they had all these different colleges come in, do presentations, every branch of the military. They taught you how to like fill out applications and blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, there was one college that like really stuck out to me.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like every other college was just the basic, like, oh, come to our college because it's amazing. Like all the same spiel. Uh-huh. But Spartan College of Aeronautics in Tulsa, Oklahoma was one that stuck out to me for whatever reason. So one day I just decided to go online, kind of like you with your sales tactics. I just wanted information.
Yeah.
And then here they are cold calling me and they're all like, hey, let's set up a time to talk and figure this out. So,
and then they locked you in. You were there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I actually was going to go to college to be an aviation maintenance technician, but they sent me all their information and stuff. And that's when I found non-destructive testing, which is what I do today.
Yeah.
So I am luckily one of the few people that do for a profession what they went to college for.
And talk about what you do, because I love the analogy you use to describe what you do.
Oh, the one where I tell welders whether or not they suck.
No, how you say it's like you know, they find where the baby is in a pregnant lady. I do that with oil rigs.
Oh,
I probably didn't describe it.
Oh yeah, well whenever you have a baby and you go to the hospital and they put the jelly on the belly to see the baby, I do the same thing, but I just look at welds.
Okay, yeah.
Which I mean, it's not really even an analogy; it's the exact same thing. Yeah. It's just ultrasound, it's just different application.
So you decided to kind of change lanes a little bit in the college studies to go that route.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Technically, I didn't start college in the other one at all. That's what didn't. That was my plan.
Okay.
And then they sent me all the information, and I ended up signing up for this.
Really cool. What was appealing about that? Because I didn't even know that was a thing.
I had never heard of it in my life.
Yeah.
And that's why my initial plan was to go for aviation maintenance.
Yep.
But they sent me the information. I just started reading up on it, to be honest with you. And like, there's NDT is the abbreviation, non-destructive testing. It's like one headline, and then you got all these different methods below it that are individual methods and different ways of inspecting and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was just reading over all that and thought that sounded way cooler.
And is that what brought you to Colorado then? So after you graduate, does that just bring you straight out here for work?
No. So about 6 months before graduating college, I had 6 job offers around the country. Like legit, like all you have to do is sign this paper and we'll fly you out. We'll pay for you to come out here kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I ended up starting in Great Falls, Montana.
Okay.
And started learning what I do now and working in the field. And because that's how you get certified with what I do is you have to get the on-the-job experience first.
Yeah.
And then once you get the hours, they'll send you to a class. And as long as you pass that, then you can go like pretty much be a technician.
Really?
As long as you show that you know what you're doing kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so with that job, I was traveling all over the central United States pretty much, like North Dakota, Texas, Wyoming, everywhere in between kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I ended up in Colorado. And with Tri-Spec, they had enough work here to just keep me here. And I told my boss, like, yeah, cut the per diem. Like, I'll find an apartment. I love it here.
Yeah.
So.
And what year was that you ended up that you landed down here?
I first came to Colorado in late 2017.
Okay.
I was still traveling kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then went back to Texas for a little bit and finally moved here in like April, May of 2018.
So like at that point of your life, and we kind of skipped over it and just kept talking, but I'm curious, back to the pills. you said, "Hey, I was thrown up in the parking lot," and I'm like, "I should probably get a hold of this right here. This isn't good." Did you just stop at that point? Like, how did you?
Not 100% cold turkey, but definitely slowed down for sure.
Okay. And then when did you just like kick that? How did you totally kick that? Because like pills are a big thing nowadays.
Yeah.
And I think it's easy for somebody, buddy of a kid, hey, give one of these a try, and then boom, they're.
Yeah. Luckily, the addictive mindset hasn't been super terrible to me.
Okay.
So like in high school, whenever I was smoking weed, I also smoked cigarettes, and then just cold turkey one day, just I'm done with that because I started wheezing when I was breathing. Yeah. So I was able to just drop that cold turkey. And luckily, I haven't been super addicted to anything except for really drinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not to the point where it's kind of destroyed my life like some people for sure, but it got to the point where I was drinking at minimum a 12-pack every night.
Yeah.
Taking some shots, like still going to work, but made work really freaking rough.
Yeah. Yeah. So pills you slowed down and then just kind of
so
eventually stopped.
Yeah, so from the time of throwing up in a parking lot to starting college was 2-3 months. Because like I had signed up for college pretty much immediately after that because I knew I had to do something with my life.
Yeah.
And then the college I went to actually did random drug tests they say it was to like prepare you for the industry because you'll get randoms in the industry all the time. And I had made it to Tulsa and started college and stuff, and I didn't get a girlfriend. I didn't do any drugs. I did drink sometimes, but I didn't want anything to mess that up because I was actually starting to do something with my life.
Really cool. Now, like where you came from, you said you had a lot of people just in your close circle, right? Family, friends, where like they're staying in town, kind of stuck there, not doing a whole lot with their life. So did you decide kind of back then, hey, I want to get out of here? Or did just that transition of like, hey, the college is coming in to visit kind of led you out? Because we talk about it now, you're like, man, I'm glad I'm not back there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was definitely, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
For sure. That was 100% it.
Now, where did you meet Marissa?
She was living in the same town my mom was when my mom passed away in 2011.
Okay.
In a town called Harlan, Iowa.
Okay. So you met her there.
Yep. Yeah, so I'd go up and visit my mom during the summer times, and she was one of the girls that came over to visit me whenever I was in town.
Okay.
So Marissa and I dated back then, and we were together whenever my mom passed away.
Okay.
But then I went back to Missouri, and the long distance thing just didn't work out.
Yeah.
No bad blood or anything like that. It just wasn't working. And actually with this job, I was going back and forth from like North Dakota to Missouri to go see family. Yeah. And she only lives like 45 minutes off that major interstate, I-29 that goes there. And I would go and visit family and see her and stuff like that. And her longtime boyfriend ended up breaking up. And I had a conversation with my cousin Bobby on the couch. And he told me, you better go check that out.
Now's your time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's my cousin Bobby has definitely been a big influence in my life.
Yeah.
And that's one of the very many things that he has helped made my life positive for sure.
Is the paint or roof on your home or business starting to look a little shabby? If so, reach out to one of our sponsors, M&D Painting and Roofing. M&D Painting and Roofing is a full-service residential and commercial painting and roofing contractor in Northern Colorado. And full disclosure, I'm the M in M&D. Check them out at mdepainting.com. Are you a small business trying to navigate all of the landscape of digital marketing and don't know where to go? Reach out to one of our sponsors, Imprint Digital. They are the go-to source for all things digital marketing. They are the producers of this podcast, and they run all of the marketing for all of my companies. Check them out at imprint-digital.com. Yeah, so you mentioned him, and then you also, like, we talk offline a lot. You just mentioned like, hey, here's some things, some people, books you've read, things you've done to like really make your life better, right? Because like when you came here, you were getting out of where you were before, just getting here, processing through and dealing with a lot of drinking to like totally making your life better, turning it around. You got a baby here now. He was just on the jiu-jitsu mats. Like I put him down and he didn't like it. It was cold. He started crying. But yeah, who are some of those people and some of those things that you've done that have been or connected with that have just been turning points for you put your life in a positive direction?
Growing up, it was definitely my cousin Bobby. He's the only other person in our family that has a college degree. Him and I both have associate's degrees.
Yeah.
He was always just a positive role model growing up. And my dad always told me growing up, like, if you keep up with school and stuff like that, you could always be smarter than Bobby. You can be smarter than Bobby. And that he'd say that all the time. And it definitely motivated me for sure. And
yeah, really cool.
So, I mean, he's helped me through my entire life as far as pointing me in the right direction and helping me and giving me advice and stuff like that. And I mean, college, moving to the big city, Tulsa, depending on who you ask. Yeah. But like, he's given me advice all throughout my life. And I mean, till this day, he still does. Like, whenever I first bought my house, he was giving me tips on like, make sure you remember to do this and that and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Now, where's he now?
He is in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, he like runs the quality control department at Tyson Bacon Plant.
Okay.
I don't know his exact title, but I know he's up there in the quality control department.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, and when you started, training here, we started spending a lot more time together, right? Like we bought the house, and you start connecting with me and Chris, and coming into the gym more. We've got our mastermind where we meet, once a month, and just kind of talk about some of those experiences and things, lessons you've learned. So I think your story is such a cool example of, like, no matter where you come from or what you're going through or what you've experienced, you can totally change that and totally drive your life in a different, more positive direction, right? So, like, what are some of those things you've taken away from that?
Yeah, I mean, started jiu-jitsu, connected with you, and then found out through jiu-jitsu and stuff like that you were a realtor. And whenever Marissa and I were ready to get our house, obviously at that time I'd known you 3 years? Two, 3 years?
Yeah, a couple. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so obviously I'd rather go to somebody like you that I know and trust rather than just finding a random person off the internet. Mm-hmm. And you got me in connection with, like, Gunner and Chris Hokum and stuff, all great guys, every one of them. And all of you guys have gone out of your way, even after the sale of the house, to continuously help me.
Yeah.
And ever since moving to Colorado, you've been definitely one of my mentors and one of the people I look up to here, because, like, starting to get my life together, have a house, have a kid and stuff like that. And now, like, having conversations with my cousin Bobby about, like, grown up stuff. Like
we got to start growing upping.
Well, compared to some of the people that I do know from my past, like, it may be a conversation that'll never happen, but retirement plans and investing and just a whole bunch of stuff. And you've definitely gone out of your way to help me with that multiple times. Give me pointers, give me advice. Chris Hokum has also done the same thing about like investing in real estate. And it's great connections.
That's such a huge part of life, just getting plugged in with people that just have that knowledge, right? You're like, hey, I need to get from here to here. This guy knows, this guy's done it. Let's get together. Yeah.
And that's the greatest thing about working with you guys is it's not like the house is sold, see you later, never talk to you again, like no interest kind of thing. Like I said, you guys have helped before buying the house all the way up till even today.
Yeah. Cause it was a process. We were, because you guys like worked on some things to get to that point. Yeah. And then we found the house.
Yeah. With which, like, being coached, if you will, from Chris, and Chris would give us step by step everything you need to do exactly to the point. If you do this, this, and this, you'll be ready to buy whatever house you want at this price range kind of thing. Yeah. And then multiple times you and or Gunner going out of your way, like, when can we meet up to look at this house? Yeah. When works for you. And then you even showed up in your gi pants one time to look at a house.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. It was like right off the mats. Yeah. Shooting over there.
Yeah. It's crazy. And the amount of appreciation for the effort that you guys put in, like, I would absolutely recommend any of you guys to anybody.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah.
And not just for the business aspect, but just for, like, the friendship that it builds. Yeah. Because the amount of connections that you guys have is amazing.
It's been cool, man. And like, we've helped a lot of people with real estate, but it's just cool. I love seeing people that want to just make their life better and are, like, reaching out to do the things to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been really cool. So you've got baby on the way, almost 6 months.
Yeah.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, he'll be 6 months on
So
the 8th.
crazy. And how's fatherhood now?
Amazing.
What did a baby coming into the world? How did that kind of change perspective of just everything you've got going on?
I mean, luckily I had started to calm down with my previous life, and we got the house and we were married and stuff like that before the baby came. So I feel like it was less drastic of a change than if we would have had him before, or even worse in like the past life back in Missouri.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was definitely a drastic change, definitely humbled me. Whenever people say, like, you don't know how you could love something so much,
Yeah.
I definitely understand that now.
Yeah.
It's amazing is the only word I can think.
Yeah. Love that, man.
And being able to be, like I said, in the position of having the house and stuff, like it's another thing that adds to my success that I'm working on because he's healthy. Marissa, my wife, amazing mother. She has gone above and beyond. She takes such good care of that boy while I'm at work and stuff like that, because she's a stay-at-home mom now.
Yeah, so because she was working, and then she's like, "Hey, I'm gonna stay at home, hold it down at the house."
And she's worked since she was like 16.
Yeah.
So this is the first time since her teenage years that she hasn't worked. And at first, it was a little bit of a rough transition for her.
Right.
But now she keeps talking about how she loves it, and I love that I can provide that for her.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But like with the decent paying job, and we can afford for her to be a stay-at-home mom, not struggle.
Yeah.
It's an absolute blessing.
Well, and you're working your way up through with Tri-Spec and those guys, man, right? You're getting more certifications, and there's different levels of what you do.
Yep.
To where you're basically like you're shooting all the way up to the top.
Yeah. So in NDT, there's 3 levels. Level 1, also known as like a trainee or an assistant, which they pretty much just follow you around and learn and figure out what they need to do and stuff like that, and help the technician. And then the level 2 is the technician, so he goes out and inspects the welds or structures or whatever we're inspecting. He can give the pass fail. And then level 3s are the ones that write the procedures and certify level 2s and stuff. So I just achieved my first level 3 in ultrasonics.
Crushed it, right?
Just went and took the test. And after a lot of years, I've been doing this for a decade this year. So really a lot of years and a lot of studying, and I passed it my first go around.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that, man. So question. So now, like, sitting where you are today, everything you've been through, if you're going back to a kid, high school, just getting out of high school, messing around, smoking pot, starting to, mess with pills, maybe they're in an environment where they don't think they can get out of it. What would be some advice looking back? Like, what would you tell younger Jessey, or what would you tell somebody that's in your same position now?
The biggest thing is it's going to suck to leave all that, because at the time you feel like that's all you know and that's your whole life. But if you can get yourself away from that and just push and focus, then you can achieve anything.
Yeah. Love that.
Because I feel like a lot of people see where I'm at now, which I'm still working on myself tremendously. Like, I got a long way to go, but a lot of people see where I'm at now and forget that I come from the same place. Like, I understand the struggles. I understand the shitty living conditions, how much drugs are around. It's just, you got to actually do something about it.
Do you think everybody can get out of that? Because I feel like I talk to some people who are like, yeah, but you don't understand my situation. Like, great that you did, but I've got this going on. I can't get out.
I deal with so many people like that.
Yeah.
So many people. And I feel like if you try hard enough, you can definitely get yourself out of it.
So you think that's just an excuse when they say that? They say they don't like it, but they still kind of like it, want to stay in it.
I do definitely understand that it's a lot harder for some people than others. I 100% understand that. But if you really want out of that situation, you'll find out a way. You'll figure out a way to get out of it.
So, like, what are the steps? Like, if you could break that down into some steps. It's going to suck at first, like you said. It's going to suck to get out. That's all you know. But what was that first step for you?
Yeah, well, my first step was definitely going to college.
Yeah.
And just getting out of town. I mean, you don't necessarily have to go to college. Just getting away from that environment. Mm-hmm. Even if you don't want to leave where you're at, leave the environment that you're in.
If you've got junk in your life or business that you need removed, reach out to one of our sponsors, Hulk Addicts. They are a full-service junk removal company, and they'll be able to take care of you at your home or your business to get rid of whatever you don't want. Check them out at hulkaddictsjunk.com. If you're a Christian small business owner, you have to check out one of our sponsors, the Foundry Advisory. They are a Christian peer advisory community here in Northern Colorado and the Front Range that is designed to give you encouragement, support, and insight to grow your business with other like-minded Christian business owners. Not only are they a sponsor and a partner of this podcast, but I'm also a member of their community. Check them out at thefoundryadvisory.com. As a small business owner, one of the things we will always need to address is a space to run our business. If you're looking to do a small tenant finish, maybe even build a building from the ground up, you've got to reach out to one of our sponsors, Mendel Construction. They are a full-service commercial contractor that can take care of your business needs to build the space and place of your dreams to run your business. Check them out at mendelandcompany.com. Yeah.
You know?
Because we live, I grew up here in Loveland. I don't know how many, there's probably 40,000 people now. There's 60, 70, I don't know. But you can stay in this environment and totally change the demographic of people you hang around with.
Yeah, just
change
get out
what you're
of that.
doing, but you can't do that in a small town.
No, that's why I had to leave for sure.
2,400 people, do you think you can stay there and totally change, or do you have to get the hell out of there?
I mean, it would be possible, I guess, to stay and change, or maybe not go quite as far away as I did, but just get yourself out of that situation. Okay. Whether it's just getting away from the people that are leading you in the wrong direction, or just get away from all the bad current stuff that's ruining your life or holding you back. Okay. And then what's next? So you get out of there, right? But now I'm feeling like you're going to be kind of alone and maybe lost. Yeah. No, it's absolutely lonely for sure. Yeah. Absolutely. You go like me, I went to a big city, don't know anybody. The biggest thing is just trying to gain friends and make connections as you go. Yeah. I come to Colorado, didn't know anybody, and now I have more connections here probably than anywhere else. Totally. With positive connections that have helped me and stuff like that. Yeah. When I went to college, it's just who I am, I guess, but I was able to gain friends super easily and connections there. And I could go to Oklahoma and have a place to stay and, go visit some people and stuff like that. Yeah. It's just, that's the biggest thing, is trying to build connections anywhere you go. Love that, man. Just obviously not the connections that you just left. Otherwise you're just don't make the same rabbit hole in a different place. Okay. Love that. And then how do you keep from backslipping into that kind of stuff? Or did you ever experience that? Or once you were out, you were out? That's definitely more of a control thing, like a self-control. And the more addiction affects different people, it's definitely a lot harder. I said, luckily the addiction aspect for me wasn't as intense as a lot of people. Yeah. So that's where I say it might be a lot harder for other people than some, for sure, because it's so hard to get completely out of that situation especially whenever that's all you've known for so long. So you shared, and you said we could talk about this, and I wanted to dig in a little bit. You kind of briefly mentioned earlier, but you're like, hey, I'm throwing down a 12-pack every night, right? And you're like, I remember when you shared, you're like, I got some issues with alcohol. So kind of take us through that journey. How did you get to that point? When did you realize that was becoming an issue? And then how did you work through it? Because it's been so cool to see you just work through that, man. As we're meeting on a monthly basis and getting together with the guys. Yeah, take us through that journey a little bit. Yeah, I drank through college, not every day. And then whenever I started this industry, I was working on the road, and then kind of just everybody's drinking, especially you're staying in man camp, hotels, anything like that. You start drinking, and I just started drinking every day, whether I was hanging out with people or not. Yeah. I would still get up and go to work, stuff like that, but it was hungover almost every day. I mean, I was doing it for years. Yeah. And at least a 12-pack every night and taking some shots, and especially if it was with coworkers and stuff like that, I'd just trashed. Damn. But definitely gained a whole lot of weight from it. Yeah. And then my doctor wasn't too impressed with my high blood pressure and stuff, starting at 27, 28. Yeah. So that's definitely been the biggest struggle for me, for sure. Yeah. Because it's so easily accessible. Sometimes, you go out for drugs or whatever, and they may be hard to find or what have you, but, you live in the same town as 12 liquor stores. You just go grab a case of beer. Yeah. But I've cut back significantly, which has definitely been a a big thing for me.
Did Baby on the Way help with that?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was still drinking quite a bit, but not as much, like just slowly going down. That's one of the things I haven't been able to quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
And now I'm down to drink a couple beers once a week, maybe get drunk like once a month.
Okay.
But it's honestly just kind of starting to lose interest in it.
Okay.
Like I'll start drinking beers and like just not interested. And I don't know, to be honest with you, what exactly changed in my mind to where it's not interesting like that anymore. Mm-hmm. But I'm definitely thanking God that it did, because it's helped a lot.
Something clicked, right?
Something did.
Because you kind of started a slow taper. Like you cold turkeyed some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. You're like, oh, I'm going to slowly peel it back.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah,
and
I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't know if drinking's ever the thing that I'll 100% like just never do again.
Yeah.
But the every single day 12-pack just getting drunk definitely had to stop for sure.
But I think just to like admit that and be able to share that and work through that, you know, was really cool to see.
To be honest with you, the men's mastermind that you came up with is what made me comfortable in sharing my story.
Yeah. You sat kind of quiet in that for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I remember, because we got some loud guys in there, right?
Yeah. It's kind of to do with my personality.
Yep.
I'm more of a sit and read the room and figure people out before I let people know about me kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's just, I don't know. It's just how I've been my whole life.
Yeah.
But that definitely, between that and listening to your podcast and listening to other people's stories, is definitely what made me be able to share mine.
I love that. Well, I remember that weekend that you did, that Saturday that you did. We're like, damn, man. And like everybody came around you and there for you.
Yeah.
And then it's cool to see the progress every month.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah. That's a cool group, man. We got some cool guys in there. We bring in a new speaker. What's been your most memorable speaker?
Probably Rustin.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, like his story is amazing.
Yeah.
Dealing with I don't want to go into too much detail, but dealing with all the.
No, you share a little bit. I mean, he's been on the podcast. I think a lot of people listening have probably heard his story. He's got an amazing story.
Yeah, everything he had to deal with, and it was almost like boom, 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 like back to back, and then to turn around where he's at now is just crazy.
Yeah, and he's sharing that story, doing so much good with that. And it's so cool to see. I think he's going to go compete again. He's going to go overseas.
Heck yeah.
You guys watch his episode. Rest in
I was going to say, you think he's going to do that as a black belt?
Yeah, he's got to be close. Been doing this for a long time.
Heck yeah. And then sharing his para jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. Like, that's another great example of you can do anything as long as you have the right mindset and you know, you push yourself to do it.
Yeah, no, he's a cool guy. And that was great to have him here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last thing I want to talk about is as we've known each other, you've kind of been, you know, you kind of initially shared like your faith story and upbringing, and then you've kind of been like slowly exploring like your faith and what that looks like, and then you made a pretty big decision of something you got coming up. Is you doing that in September?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they have a date yet?
I'll have to check it out.
Okay. But yeah, share
I haven't checked out the specific date
about that, because that's been cool to see a journey through that too.
Yeah. Yeah, so I grew up going to church and stuff like that, and then kind of tapered off. And then whenever my mom passed away, I kind of completely gave it up. Just confused on, you know, the typical why does it have to happen kind of thing. And then going through so much after she had passed away and everything still being fine, it just kind of added up. And I've been to a couple churches, but they didn't seem right.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to explain it, but it definitely didn't seem like the right place for me. And then I just kept exploring stuff like that. And then I'm getting baptized in September. I'm super looking forward to that. I feel like it's just like wash away the past life kind of thing, almost like a new start.
Love that, man.
Super excited.
Yeah. And are you going to do that at Foundations?
Yeah.
Because you went and checked it out and really enjoyed it there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Super proud of you. Well, like what else do you want to share with listeners that you haven't shared yet? Just about building a better life, man. You're doing it, you know, every day.
Yeah. I mean, positive mindset is a huge thing for me. Like there's definitely people that will find the negative in anything, no matter what it is. And it's kind of a struggle for me. Not really a struggle, but like I have a lot of people that come to me like to vent and, you know, need to talk to and stuff like that. And I try to share like positive outcomes or like what you can do to help your situation or anything like that. And it's just anything you can do to be negative. Like there's negative in everything. And I am very much a positive person. The most, most I absolutely can be. Yep. And just trying to push through stuff like that.
Like, being around those people, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Cause it's people I definitely care dearly about. Mm-hmm. But sometimes I just want to grab them by the shirt and listen. It's not that bad if you do something about it.
Have you tried that yet?
No. I'm about to.
Joey, you have some of that? Some people you want to just shake the crap out of?
Absolutely.
Right? Have you ever done it? Have you ever shook somebody?
Just mostly babies.
No, don't shake babies, dude. You can't do that. We can't even air this now because you said that.
No, it's honestly something that I struggle with a lot because I'm the type of person that wants the best for everybody around me.
Yeah.
And sometimes you feel like you have all the tools and you know exactly the steps that can dig them out of whatever the hole is, and you will give them that information, and it's ultimately up to them. And you use the horse to water analogy, Matt. But it's super true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can lead the horse to water and then they'll still just drown themselves in the water every time. You can't help some people, man, as much as you try.
Or you lead the horse to water and you force his head under it until he figures out how to drink.
Yeah, or stops complaining.
Yeah.
No, I think some people just, they complain about life. There's a guy the other day, and, I remember the first time I met him, he was bitching about something. I'm like, have you tried this, or this? Yeah, but, all right, well, we'll go give it a try again. And he comes back bitching about the same thing. And after like the third time, I just tune it out and try to avoid him as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like, I can't help you.
That's where I had mentioned earlier about sometimes I feel like people forget that I came from the same thing because I have had them tell me like, well, you don't understand the struggle, or, people with money don't have to worry about this. It's like, I came from the same place. I totally understand. And I'm trying to help you figure out how you can help yourself rather than me just handing everything to you and making it okay.
And some people forget about that. You see somebody in whatever their current situation, you don't know where they came from, man. You don't know.
Right.
You don't know the backstory. Yeah.
Right. And that's a lot of people in society these days is they see the success now and have no idea the work that was put into getting to where they're at.
Yeah.
And like the amount of work and amount of time and amount of heartache or whatever it may be to get to that, they don't want to talk about that part.
Yeah.
They just want to talk about, well, so-and-so has this much money and this many assets and stuff. Oh, it must be nice. Yeah. It is nice.
It is nice.
Because I've worked my ass off to get it.
Yes. Yeah. We had Harley on the show. Harley thought like mommy and daddy gave me some money or something. Remember that? Joey's like, I thought you had all this given to you. I'm like, no, man, we started it with nothing.
Yeah.
And there's like power in that, being able to do that.
Yeah. And shout out to Harley.
What's up, Harley?
Listening
Tyler.
Listening to his first podcast was what made me start to talk about my story.
Yeah. And I love that you did, man, because you're able to help so many people with that. Thanks for coming on today.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up our time.
No, together. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah,
it's definitely, I started to share my story more and more with different people now. And it's great. Like I was almost embarrassed at first, but now it's just a part of who I am, like sharing my story and trying to help people that are in that position that I came out of.
Well, and isn't it cool? Like I think for some people, the things you think you're going to be embarrassed about when you share them, it's the same stuff that other people are struggling with.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you relate to them. They want to listen to you and you've made it through the other side. And then all of a sudden you can help them.
Yeah.
And not too many men, especially, right, don't want to do that.
No,
yeah.
No, especially men.
Yeah.
It's almost shameful to talk about stuff like that or anything that makes you sound weak.
Totally. Well, dude, you wrote something down on your card over there. We wrap up every episode same way. You have the statement that you want to leave with the world when you leave it. What did you write down?
Positive actions plus a positive mindset equals success. And to go with that, like it has to actually mean something, like you have to actually like stick to that for it to work. Like I've told that to some people and they try and be like semi-positive and something goes wrong and it's, oh, my life's over. It's terrible. Like, no, if you actually stick to that, it does work.
Yeah.
And people think that like the success is immediate and it's just now I own a mansion. It's like, no, like little steps will make you successful.
Yeah.
And like little steps are a part of success.
Well, Jessey, man, thanks so much for coming on. Good to have you, man.
Appreciate you having me.
That's a wrap. Hey, thanks for tuning into this week's episode. Would you make sure to please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel here, and please share this episode with somebody whose life it will make better. Are you a faith-based father and you want to have the adventure of a lifetime with your son? You have to check out the father-son hike of a lifetime on the Camino de Santiago in Spain. June of 2025, I'm going to be taking a small group of fathers and sons over to Spain. We are going to spend 6 days, hike 70 miles, have some of Spain's most amazing cuisines, see some of the most beautiful places and spaces, but most importantly, spend time together bonding with our sons. If you're interested in this adventure, check out mattshoup.com. When you get to the website, click the Gentle Art of Leadership button and hover down to the Father-Son Hike of a Lifetime.